Yes, I said it. Life without tax. What would that look like for the average person in the UK? Stay with me for 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, and I'll break down for you what life would look like for an average person in the UK without tax. First of all, there'll be more money in your pocket. If you're earning an average salary of 33,000 per year, 5,000 of that per year goes on income tax and national insurance. Without taxes, that would give you an extra £400 in your pocket per month. And just think about what you could do with that £400 a month. Pay off some debts, boost your savings, treat yourself to some nice to haves instead of just focusing on the bare essentials. With no tax VAT on goods and services, everything automatically becomes cheaper. That means you can do holidays. That means you can, have the odd luxury here and there, more life experiences, weekly groceries, even buying a cup of coffee becomes cheaper. Your money just stretches that little bit further. And let's not forget transport. With no fuel duty or vehicle tax, this automatically means cheaper fuel, diesel, petrol, and the cost of owning a car automatically becomes cheaper. Even if you don't have a car and you're a commuter, this means your transport costs per month reduces significantly because there's no tax, right? Now for the entrepreneur, the small business owner, what happens if there's no tax? Starting a business automatically becomes easier. With no corporation tax or business rates, this means more of your profits stay with you. That means you're able to grow faster and hire more people. It's just a no-brainer, right? What about buying a home? This means with no stamp duty, getting on the property ladder becomes more affordable and more realistic for most everyday people earning an average salary. This means buying furniture, building materials for renovations, hiring somebody to come and do renovations to your home automatically gets reduced significantly. Just imagine, with no tax on your water, gas, electricity bills, that immediately puts more money back into your pocket. Let's not forget local authority taxes like council tax. Right there, that's a massive saving. No council tax? Just imagine that for a minute and what that would mean to your monthly income. Remember, with no local authority taxes, that would result no public services like the NHS, schools, and road maintenance. We all know we need schools, we need the NHS, and we need roads, we need streetlights, we need our bins to be collected. The likelihood is, with no taxes, people will then choose to whether or not, people will then have the choice as to whether or not, or even how much they're willing to contribute for those services to be provided. But for the average UK earner, it would mean more control over the money you earn and how you spend it. A life without central government telling us that we have to pay for certain things, it kind of gives the control back to the people who have earned the money, right? I guess the question should be, what would you do with that freedom? What would you do with the freedom that living a tax-free life would give you? Imagine, what if the government was to launch a national game show where you get to win a year with zero tax. It's no tax. That would be a brilliant TV show. Everybody would watch that. If the BBC want to boost ratings, instead of giving us EastEnders and The One Show, why don't they give us a TV show where a family get to play to win a year with no tax? Forgive me, I'm just floating ideas. I'm just trying to think outside the box. I mean, if not the TV show idea, how about if those of us who invest in the country by buying premium bonds, what about if one of the premium bond prizes was a year without tax? What about something like that? Or what about maybe something along the lines of, subject to you qualifying for you making national insurance contributions or income tax contributions for a certain year, and it gets capped, that subject to certain terms and conditions, you and 4 members of your family who have met a certain threshold or criteria, you then qualify to be then entered into a pot of people who get picked at random to win a year tax free. It's really about just showing that we're just trying to balance the equation a little bit, because often those people at the top end, because understand how the country's set up. We have those who own the land, those who have been born into privilege versus those of us who are workers. Now, you can't buy your way into a certain bloodline so you inherit the wealth of a nation. Yeah, the odds are just stacked against those of you who are so-called working class. So an initiative like this helps to tip the balance a little bit, where there's a little bit of luck involved. Just like certain people were lucky to be born into a certain family line where you're going to inherit certain wealth and certain assets when people pass away, and it gets passed on to you in terms of inheritance and stuff like that. We, the normal people, can't compete with that. It's an uneven playing field. That's not equality. We're living in a modern age where you have those that have and those who have not. And those that have use their assets to make their money and to keep their families, fed with a roof over their head. And then you have the others, like the rest of us, who only have our labor and our intelligence. We use our hands and our time, and we sell our time in return for a wage. So a way that a forward-thinking government would say, you know what, let's just really cut to the chase. If we really want to spread the wealth of the country, targeted at low income families. We're talking about giving people below a certain income threshold the opportunity to have a year tax free, subject to terms and conditions, of course. You have to have been contributing to society and contributing to the system, no criminal records, but just something along the lines of balancing the playing field, because not everybody was born into a family that has it, that have got assets to pass down. That guy that you're sitting in the pub with, you may support the same football team, but your financial and economic background is completely different. We're all similar, but we're all different. And some of us have contributed, but yet we will never ever be able to enjoy the quality of life that other people have been able to enjoy, purely based on their bloodline and their inherited wealth. And I'm just talking about something that will just tip the scale a little bit to make things a little bit more equal. Because as the saying goes, everything is equal, but some things are just more equal, more favorable to others, subject to their bloodline and who the family that they were born into. How about that? So if they don't like the game show idea, how about the government change fiscal policy to enable average working families to have the opportunity to have a year of zero tax across the board? I'm talking with every penny they earn and every penny they spend. Zero tax. It's like a national initiative whereby after subject to terms and conditions, there's like a cycle, there's like a lottery of names, or I don't know, there's like a system of, every worker, it's like an incentive to keep working, incentive to work, because after you've worked under a certain number, after working for a certain number of years, that will automatically qualify you to enter into a lottery whereby the government will announce the New Year list, X amount of family, all these family names get listed, and by dint of your tax code and, how much you've contributed, you will then be awarded this special privilege where you get to have the next financial year tax free. Or if not that, make it one of the, the national premium bond prizes. Make one of the national premium bond prizes a tax free year. Why not? Why not? That's the question I want to. Why not?